Well, imagine crossing the Simpson Desert on foot or climbing Mount Kilimanjaro. Now imagine doing that blind.
Nick Gleeson has done just that and much, much more. And last night he was awarded the Spirit of Adventure at the Australian Geographic Awards. To tell us about his extraordinary life, we're talking now with adventurer Nick Gleeson. Nick, thanks very much for coming in, and big congratulations on this award.
Oh, thank you very much.
It's not your first award though, but what does this one mean to you?
I think this award this time round is a celebration of a long life of adventure, and especially of those people who have been part of my journey, my many decades of being involved in a lot of personal goals that I've wanted to achieve, and I've really loved it. And last night, receiving that was really bringing together all of those things and all the people that have meant so much in the past and in my life at the moment.
Nick, the list of things that you've done is so ridiculously impressive. I don't even know where to start. Climbing Mount Kilimanjaro, visiting the Everest Base Camp, trekking through New Zealand, competing a 90-kilometre ultramarathon, scaling the steps of the Empire State Building in New York, doing the New York City Marathon. You were blinded at the age of 7 in an accident, right? At what age did you start to think, you know what, this adventuring thing is going to be my bag?
Josh, I was thinking about that, and I'm not quite sure, but what I really come to terms with and understand now is that my parents were people, they never said can't, they always said do. And I think that was a really big thing in my life. And they found ways for me to do it. I'm formerly from Melbourne, so I came from a very, I suppose, a poor suburb of Melbourne back in the 1960s. And I remember my dad putting bells inside a ball, so I could still be, in theory, that champion AFL player. And still take the flukish mark in our backyard and know that, pretend to be that champion full forward for that team. And they assisted me to follow the passions in my life and not to be put down by other people and not to be told you can't do it. And blindness would not determine who I was, I would determine who I was.
Sounds like great parents there you've got, Nick.
Oh, they were wonderful, Joe, and they both sadly died before I was 20, so they weren't here for a long time. And I think they set me up, along with my siblings too, who were tremendous support. And like I say, throughout my life, I have come across so many. It would be hundreds of people who've joined that next to me, walked the mountains and the deserts and the running tracks and cricket pitches, and now they've all come and gone, and new people have come into my life, and it's just been a huge celebration.
Not just people, Nick, but you've also got your beautiful dog, Unity, who you've brought in today. He's just beautiful. How is he involved in these adventures that you go on?
He hasn't gone on many, but I suppose my life is an adventure.
Yeah.
And I became self-employed. He's a seeing eye dog, and he's my first dog. And we've been together now 10 years. And we do a lot of, we've probably travelled on a plane 150, 200 times. So he travels everywhere. We've been on ferries, taxis, what you name it, we've been together. He's stopped me from being hit by reversing cars out of driveways and stopped me when those moments of potential danger. The only adventure that we've been together was in New Zealand, where I went with Sarah Delaney, one of my fantastic guides, and Unity and myself. We went to New Zealand to Kaharangi National Park, and we had to cross 8 rivers in total. They were tidal rivers, so at times waist deep, up to chest deep, and Sarah would swim him across, come back, and then strap herself to me, and we would cross those rivers together.
Oh, and he looks so cute as well, just absolutely adorable.
He knows it too, Josh.
Absolutely. He's sort of putting on a little bit of an I'm too cute fake pose at the moment, with both of his paws flopped on either side of his head. Let's take a look at him there. When you say that he's been on a plane 150 times with you, can he go in the cabin with you? Yeah,
they allocate an extra seat, and he lies on the floor on an absorbent mat, which is pretty tiny. I'd hate to think if he had some sort of accident, I don't think the mat would do much. But and these dogs are so beautifully trained. They lie there. He lies as he is there. He would stay there all day if you had to, and not move. And he would travel on the plane with me, and the staff are very much aware of what they can and can't do. And most times when harness, you cannot pat the dog. The exception is when you ask for permission. And then
Yeah.
it's up to the handler whether they would allow or not allow. 2 days ago, I was in my local swimming pool, and a young mum came running up with her little boy called Nicholas, and she asked whether he could pat him. And it's up to me, and I sat Unity down, I took his harness off, and Nicholas had a pat of him. And no, Daniela, my grade assistant, said that the smile that little boy had on his face was precious.
Yeah.
Nick, you've had such a full life, so much adventure. If someone was watching this who is blind or has a disability of some sort, what would be your message to them?
My message, I think, and this applies to everyone, is to believe much more stronger in yourself than what you probably do. So whatever you believe, treble that, 10 times that, because that's what you believe and that's your passion. And then add a mixture of determination and grit to your passion, and that will take you a long way along that pathway of achieving what is important to you, and not take too much notice of what other people think and what they say. If it's important to you, that's all that matters.
It's good advice for everyone, I think.
Nick Gleeson, congratulations on the Australian Geographic Society Award, and thanks for coming in.
Pleasure.
And thanks to
Thank
Unity
you.
as well.
Yeah, and thanks to you.
Thank
Little
you.
pup.